The important aspect that the generally the PGs or the hostels miss out is the life is something that needs to be lived upon and then basically to be enjoyed actually thoroughly, right? It's like those customer satisfaction is at the top level.
Awesome. Wow, thanks for putting that out. I'm sure anybody listening to that would be love to opt for a co-living space now. But but okay, great. Moving on, just want to quickly talk to you about are co-living spaces in India suitable for couples as well? Is that something that's been explored in India at the moment?
I could say some metrics actually in our co-living spaces. We have facilities exclusively for men, exclusively for women, and we have co-living spaces. And co-living is a factor that was understood, basically misunderstood in a way that co-living means a boy and a girl or a male and a female, but that is not the concept actually. The concept is two people, two individuals basically staying together in a room or sharing basis or whatever it is called is co-living. I can tell you some metric basically out of in our co-living spaces basically 10% of the rooms get filled with couples actually.
Whenever a North Indian goes to a South Indian state or city, and such as Bangalore, hello and welcome to Startup Story Spotlight. This is your host Lata, and joining with me on today's episode is one of the co-founders of ATNEST, a premium co-living space present in over 10 locations across Hyderabad, and the news has it they're soon to expand to Bangalore, Delhi, and Pune. Well, co-living in India as an alternative real estate investment has garnered so much attention from domestic as well as foreign institutional investors since last 4 years. Why is that? What is so different about these co-living spaces? Are co-living spaces suitable for couples in India yet? We will talk about all of that in the video, so stay tuned. But we'll also talk about it, which is one of the very key takeaways for me from this conversation, is when Mr. Nehru, the co-founder at Nest, mentioned that they very well know and are ready to expand, but they're also very careful about not burning themselves out in the name of growth, in the name of expansion. And that is something a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people have to realize in their professional lives. But we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about so much more, so stay tuned and watch this conversation till the end. Hi, Mr. Nehru. Thank you so much for joining this conversation with Startup Story. Lovely having you here all the way from Hyderabad. Before we talk about ATNEST and the co-living industry in India, which we will definitely touch upon because it has become such an interesting space in India to explore, right? But before we talk about that, could you provide, for everybody who's listening, a brief differentiation between the co-living spaces and the PGs and other such accommodations? What are the cost dynamics in both of them?
Yeah, sure, Lata. Thanks for giving us this opportunity, actually, first of all. And then, yeah, means like coming to co-living spaces, the important aspect that the generally the PGs or the hostels miss out is the life is something that needs to be lived upon and then basically to be enjoyed actually thoroughly, right?
Okay.
I feel that this PGs and other hostels actually doesn't actually have that actually. I mean, like it is like either you sleep in that or then basically take bath or basically move out of that particular facility. But the co-living spaces, especially the places that we curate, are especially focused on the living aspect of every individual actually, the privacy that they need and the coziness that they need, and then the community aspect, and then interacting with multiple people that are around is the aspect that is crucially missed in the PGs actually. So that is the aspect that co-living places bring together, and then basically we at Nest actually basically curate our places very carefully so that the living aspect of every individual is not at all compromised actually. Okay.
Wow, lovely. And we'll touch upon that community and social inclusion aspect of it. We'll definitely touch upon that. But coming back to ATNEST very quickly, what motivated you to venture into, a co-living space? I know you were already, handling a cafe before this, so you were already a part of the hospitality sector. But what made you venture beyond that and start ATNEST?
Right. So this was ATNEST was started by one of our co-founders called Sanjay Chaudhary actually.
Okay.
And we're all basically from a tech background actually, and then we worked for multiple companies, MNCs, and all that stuff. And then we wanted to prove ourselves and do something on our own actually. In that process, we ventured into food business, and in 2014, basically Sanjay wanted to do something, and then they saw a great need for students, working professionals, and then gig workers to have kind of away from home for them in the city. Actually, the city was, especially Hyderabad, was has witnessed a huge amount of growth from 2007 actually, and then when Sanjay basically wanted to get into something actually, then when he analyzed what would be the ideal this thing actually, although we basically started our business career in 2014, right? Our experience in hospitality way back to 1990, especially Sanjay has established his restaurant in 1990 itself actually, so he wanted to stick to hospitality segment actually. And then when he was exploring ideas, basically we thought like the co-living spaces would be a better this thing actually. So when he analyzed the traditional model actually, we thought like there are some improvements that we can bring in to this system. And then basically, especially on the food and hygiene aspects, plus the community aspect, we thought like he thought like we could bring in a lot of changes into the system actually. That is how basically we what he did was basically basing on the customer needs. Suppose Hyderabad has a mix of South Indian, North Indian residents actually who come and from different parts of India and live here, right? So basically, our menu addresses all the taste palettes and all that. So this is something small changes that he did in the system basically, and then we could have created a difference actually. All our properties we launched in 2014 December actually, and within 15 days our property got filled up actually. Okay, so
Wow.
and from there, yeah, from in 2017 or slag end of 2016, I joined basically Sanjay and with other couple of other partners called Rajendra and Mohan actually. And then we started taking it up very seriously, and we scaled to by 2018-19 we scaled to 5 properties in Hyderabad actually. Yeah.
Wow, lovely. And you're open to students, you're open to tourists, and you're open to working professionals, all of them, right?
Right. Right now, basically, we are focusing on 3 segments. One is the co-living spaces, and we are also into mid-segment hotels. Actually, that range nightly rental will be range from 2,000 to 2,000 rupees to 3,500 rupees, and we are also into serviced apartment sections actually, wherein basically a nightly rent of a flat would be around like 10,000 rupees in Hyderabad.
Wow,
So
lovely.
we have balanced ourselves in 3 segments just to ensure that we don't put all the eggs in one basket actually.
Yeah, quite an interesting strategy. Awesome. So you're going all in. Great to know. Great. So you specifically mentioned that you've also right now ventured into USA as well with co-living
Right.
space. So what I want to ask you about is what are some key metrics that that decide the success of a co-living space, right? How do you ensure that how do you ensure the yield of return on investment that you make on a co-living space as compared to any traditional sort of place where rent is generally a metric that helps you understand, right? The cost of that place generally helps you understand. What is the key metric here in co-living spaces?
See, obviously, for any in hospitality segment, either a hotel or a co-living spaces, occupancy levels plays a crucial role actually.
Hmm.
So we were blessed to operate all our facilities at like 98% occupancy on average actually, which is like a kind of a very good thing for us actually. Okay, so occupancy levels, and then why do we get such occupancy levels is basically because of the customer experience or basically customer satisfaction score actually. And then three aspects that we personally basically we will never compromise was are basically, one is the security of the inmates who are going to stay with us or who are staying with us actually, and then second thing is the food part of it actually, and the third thing is basically the hygiene part of it actually. These are three non-negotiable items for us, which will basically put ourselves ahead of the competition. And then these three items can never be negotiated actually. Okay, so what in terms of security, we ensure that the facilities have is 24 is under 24/7 surveillance actually, and then a specific security guards will be available to monitor the guest movement in and out actually. And then we also have put some restrictions in place, not restrictions, basically safety measures in place, just in case if a guest is leaving the facility or entering the facility after 10 p.m., we ensure that their movements are recorded just to ensure that the safety precautions are taken actually. Okay, we don't usually encourage unknown guests until unless someone basically who is living in the facility authorize them actually. So security aspect is completely taken care actually. It's not like a regular PG wherein anybody can move in and move out actually. Second thing is, like as I said earlier as well, the food aspect is very crucial because people or the inmates who are living with us basically comes from different parts of India actually. Okay, so we curate food menus in such a way that the taste palette of both the South Indian, North Indian, and the different people who travel from different parts of the country are balanced out. Actually, that is one important aspect. Third thing is basically the hygiene aspect. We've seen people basically doing housekeeping once in 2 days. There are facilities who there are operators who manage things like that actually. But that is something that we never compromise. We do housekeeping on a regular basis actually, which is the washroom gets cleaned on a daily basis. The linen gets changed periodically once in a week, and then basically all these aspects are something that we don't negotiate, and ultimately contributes to your guest satisfaction, which is linked directly to your occupancy levels actually. So two important factors are basically occupancy levels and guest satisfaction, and three important other factors that contribute to them are food, hygiene, and security actually.
Awesome. So, because you emphasized on food and hygiene aspect a lot, I actually have a quick story there. Whenever a North Indian goes to a South Indian state or city, and such as Bangalore, Hyderabad, the ones where we generally move to a sector like that, one of the adjustments they have to make is with the food, right? And I'm sure you're very aware of that, right? And that is something, trust me, I have so many stories from so many of my friends who are living in the south right now, coming from north, and they've all had the same kind of stories. So I actually have a friend who has a brother. So her brother was living in a co-living space and she was living in a PG. And I asked her very straightforward, what is the difference between both of you are living? And she said just one specific difference, that he is getting better food there than where I am at right now. So I can vouch for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. So basically, if you look at the South Indian and then the North Indian crowd, right? North Indian basically is more of roti and then basically some sabji actually, but whereas South Indians basically eat lot of rice actually. So what difference is, simple difference that we made is we ensure that each and every meal has a roti actually. If the North Indian crowd doesn't like basically the rice actually, they can opt for a roti actually with some sabji. In the sabjis also we ensure that at least dal is prepared in North Indian style, so that at least their palates get satisfied actually. So those are small things that we take care just to ensure that because as we said, this is home away from home actually. We wanted them to be means like the guests to feel that they are home actually. Okay, because the guests will be residing, means like they will be living with us for months actually, in some cases years also actually. So those are small aspects that we take care just to ensure that we means like those customer satisfaction is at the top level.
Awesome. Wow, thanks for putting that out. I'm sure anybody listening to that will be love to opt for a co-living space now. But but okay, great. Moving on, just want to quickly talk to you about are co-living spaces in India suitable for couples as well? Is that something that's been explored in India at the moment?
I could say some metrics actually in our co-living spaces. We have facilities exclusively for men, exclusively for women, and we have co-living spaces. And co-living is a factor that was understood, basically misunderstood in a way that co-living means a boy and a girl or a male and a female, but that is not the concept actually. The concept is two people, two individuals basically staying together in a room, or sharing basis, or whatever it is called as co-living. I can tell you some metric basically out of in our co-living spaces. Basically 10% of the rooms get filled with couples actually. Okay. It is yeah, definitely, basically that's a challenge. I would say that's a challenge, but the couple has to determine whether the requirements are being met for them. They have to analyze the property and understood that whether their privacy is not compromised. First one thing that they need to look at is their privacy is not to be compromised. Second thing is basically, even if the couple wanted to stay together, if they have to rent an apartment here, basically if it's a 2 BHK or something like that, would be costing more than what they are going to spend here in the PG facility or the co-living facility actually. Third thing is, are there requirements related to food and the daily errands are taken care actually. All these things are something that we take care of from our from my understanding. We take care of them, but the couples need to analyze their requirements and make sure that their requirements are met actually. But I personally feel that yes, definitely co-living spaces are a suitable option for couples, provided that case to case they have to analyze and then take a decision.
Yeah. So you can say, it's kind of, if you want to get into an affordable live-in relationship, you could go for co-living, right?
Right.
Wow, you can actually position like that. But great. Okay, moving on. I want to go a bit deeper into the community aspect of it. Could you elaborate how do you ensure that sense of community? Because that is one of the USPs. That is one of the things that are different from any other accommodation, and that is what is going to help you grow next, right? The community aspect of co-living spaces. Could you help dive deeper into how do you ensure that?
Sure. So basically, generally, the PGs or the hostels actually, either the guest has to live in their room, or then basically in the there's no like a living space available for them. Basically, if they wanted to have a cup of a coffee in a nice cafeteria, and then basically some place where people can meet and get together, are some simple aspects that were missing actually. So and then we especially ensure that we have a lot of greenery in our facilities, be it lobbies or be it corridors or whatever it is actually, so that natural element is never missing actually. And then we curate our places in such a way that we have although it's a small building or 70-80 room building actually, we ensure that there are gyms available, and the terrace we ensure that there are places where people can hang out actually. This itself brings in a lot of difference in terms of the competition actually. And then once you have that place, basically people generally tend to go and have some fresh air, and then in that process basically they meet a lot of other people that are hanging around in that particular place actually. So that important aspect we always make sure that there is some sort of a very good living space available. Second thing is basically we try to basically bring people together. So what we do is basically we conduct events, especially we have a very good food is part and parcel of our life, right? So basically what we do is basically once in a month we say that kind of a food festival that happens in an open space actually. They can cook themselves actually, and then basically we also on that particular day, apart from the regular menu, what we do is we can kind of do a kind of food festival wherein basically we also have different vegetarian and non-vegetarian options available from the regular not from the regular menu but from something different. Once in a month is what we do it actually. And then we also ensure ensure that festivals and then New Year's or something like that have some special attention, nice decorations to be done in all the facilities actually, and then bring in people actually, and then we also have organized something like a law for club actually in one of the terraces actually, and then we also have Friday nights wherein people can come together and have some chit chat actually. There are people who does, there are startups who basically especially does these kind of concepts in the in different places actually, so we engage them, basically bring them to our facilities and ensure that people come and have kind of like Friday nights leisurely spent at the terrace or something like that, and then in the process they may basically meet lot of people actually. So those are some important aspects that we bring in actually, and some other things that we're also concentrating is basically how do we ensure that the guests daily errands are taken care of actually, because suppose if you are at home actually, an young millennial with like 20-25 years or 30 years of age is at home, usually who takes care of their errands actually, the mother at home or the father at home takes care of that actually, right? Suppose if you wanted to do a courier, if you wanted to do something else, or if you wanted to buy some groceries for you or something like that, right? Generally for a busy schedule, when you're in a busy schedule, someone at home helps you basically to make sure that those needs are taken care actually. So those are some aspects we ensure that we take care of that as part of our value added services, and ensure that the guest lives comfortably here actually, so that they always feel that they are connected with people here, they're not living alone, and they are not away from home.
Wow. I think you answered all of that in a very simple question. Great then. So let's say I'm an introvert. It's probably a good place for me to be in, right? A co-living space, because
even I am an introvert actually. I feel shy talking to new individuals actually, but something that we have to break upon. But if someone basically starts a dialogue with me, I get along very soon actually. Okay, so this usually you come and take a sharing bed in one room, and then basically if you're introvert, it takes time for people to basically get along with them actually, right? But if you basically confine yourself to a room, the opportunity that you get to interact is only 2 or 3 other individuals. But if you have a sense of a community, it could be basically means like 100-200 guests are available there, and then you can find people who are basically thinking similar to you, or on par with your thought process or whatever it is actually. Then you get basically, you don't feel that you are just stuck up in one room, you can meet people always actually. So that is the whole thought process.
Yeah, and at least one person out of those 100 or 200 people could come and talk to you, and then you can get started. Like how you said, you're an introvert, but if somebody starts talking, then you're good to go.
Right.
Coming back to ATNEST, very last question, and then we'll wrap up. So ATNEST is looking to expand into cities like Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, right?
Right. We have
Awesome.
plans. We are talking. First is basically Bangalore. We are in active talks with 5 properties actually. So maybe by end of Jan we will be able to concrete on that. We come to a concrete decision on that particular deal. We were just Hyderabad is our strength, and then basically we were in Hyderabad from last 10 years actually. We definitely have to expand. The time has come to expand, and then but unknown territories and then unknown waters. We just wanted to be very careful. Our growth, we wanted to be always organic. We don't have to explode our growth, and then basically in the process of expanding, we don't wanted to burn ourselves actually. We just don't wanted to miss the essence of life basically. We don't wanted to run around and then basically burn ourselves actually. We set the internal processes, policies, systems in place before we scale actually, and that we were in that process. We've transformed ourselves as a family run business, from a family run business to a corporate entity, and we have a professional board in place actually, and then we have independent directors and then advisors in place actually, who can guide us in the right way actually. So yeah, growth will always focus on the organic growth.
Okay. By the way, is that something that you learn in your, later 30s or something like that, about not burning yourself, living through life, going in flow? Is that something you learn post 30s?
Yes, that is something that I learned definitely post 30s. Before, I mean, like when I got my first job in 24 or actually. So I was like running around actually, and then I realized that okay, means like this is something too much actually. Okay, and then even though now we work hard, we basically ensure. I used to come to my office daily by 9 o'clock in the morning actually. We work hard, but we also ensure that there is some personal space always available for our partners and the family members, just to ensure that that the aspect of life is not missed out actually. Okay.
So do you agree with 70-hour work week by Mr. Narayan Murthy, or you don't?
No, basically, I means like it is an individual decision. I personally basically work more than any other people in my organization actually. But at the same time, I'll ensure that the family aspect of the fun part of the life is not missed actually. Sometimes what we do is, if we are not getting time, we try to mix fun at work actually. We try to have some fun at work as well. Means like, suppose if you have to travel actually, we ensure that we travel together, all the partners travel together, so that the fun part of the this thing is also in place actually. Definitely we would like to hang out somewhere actually, and then make sure that the lessons of life is not totally missed actually. It is an individual choice on how they wanted to work. For me, that is doing actually, and then I work more than anybody else, but at the end of the day, at least Sundays I try to take off, if not Saturdays actually, and then ensure that the family aspect is also taken care.
Lovely, lovely. We would also love to hang out with you guys and get some life lessons for sure. But
Yeah, sure.
100%.
Sure.
In your co-living space, when you expand.
Sure.
Okay, so just one last question, and then we'll finally wrap up. So, because I asked you about this expansion about Bangalore, Pune, and Chennai that you mentioned, because India's legal framework is a bit complex, right? How do you plan to navigate these challenges when you venture out in any new city? Do you have a
So
plan in space? Yeah.
my plan is very simple, Lataji. Simple task is basically, as I told you, Hyderabad is our strength. Actually, okay, and then we always seek local support actually, and we try to understand the local framework, because although it is one country, every city, in fact, in the city itself, different locations operate in a different fashion actually, especially with the Hyderabad and Bangalore and Chennai, it is totally different actually. So what we're trying to analyze is basically what are those local aspects that makes a lot of difference actually. Okay, suppose the capex investment in Hyderabad is slightly higher than compared to Bangalore, but the rentals are very much higher in Bangalore compared to Hyderabad actually. So each and every aspect have to be analyzed, and then make sure that we are doing the right thing. In that process of expansion, we don't all. I mean, like when we explored Bangalore, we thought like the rentals are high, but the investment of capex is little less there, because people don't have to use ACs necessarily, because Bangalore is comparatively have less temperatures compared to Hyderabad actually, right? So these aspects have to be analyzed, and then one other important aspect that we learned was basically Bangalore people prefer. Uh, inmates prefer to have a single shared accommodation or a double shared accommodation at max. Hyderabad has like 3 share options also available actually. These are small aspects that we need to analyze in when we are getting into new actually. And then we also basically seek local people help actually, and then in that process we figure out basically Chennai, Pune and Bangalore are the best options available for us. That is the reason I stated these 3 cities actually, and then once we are confident that we are established in these particular places actually, maybe we'll think about the other cities actually. Okay, so definitely that local support is there, that legal framework actually, and in terms of most of the problems get solved when you have strong connects within the industry people actually, and then you'll be able to sense how the people are doing and how we have to take things forward in that particular city. I mean, it's like approach to different cities are different actually. Yeah.
Fair, understood. Got it. Lovely. That was an interesting conversation, and like I said, we'd love to hang out with you guys for sure. Learn some life lessons, and thank you again for doing this conversation. For everybody listening, tune into this very interesting, very insightful conversation about co-living spaces. It is growing rapidly in India, so you definitely don't want to miss this. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye bye.